So I've attached the GoFish Cam to a surf fishing rig, and now I'm going to make the cast into the Gulf of Mexico around Florida, and we'll see what we see and what we can learn from watching what this camera picks up in the ocean. I am using a Green Gidim rig, bead on the bottom dropper, which is the one closest to the camera. And you can see out in the distance how it is floating with a blue and green float using sand fleas. Look how clear the water is. There is some June grass, which probably is going to be a problem, but not a big problem because it's not that thick. These sand fleas are alive, but the way they're hooked, they're not going anywhere. Oh, we got our first fish sighting. Those are ladyfish just cruising through, not even coming close, except for that one sees something but cruises right on by. You got some more ladyfish, also known as skipjack. If you're a kid, that's probably what you called them, fishing the Gulf of Mexico. You can see how the sand flea drifts on the bottom. If you look to the right, there is a olive snail poking its head around, and I believe it already grabbed the bait and has taken it down in the sand because you don't see the sand flea drifting anymore. So the bottom dropper is now completely buried in the sand. I saw the olive snail, poked the head in quickly, went back into, you can see one of its eyes right there. There's the olive snail. It is going down with my bait right now, and you can see that there's no sand flea going back and forth at this moment. And here's another olive snail. When it's calm, and this was a flat day, there will be tons of olive snail activity. There's some fish in the background, way back there. I see some shadows. But just know that that creature right there, if you're not checking your bait every 15 minutes or sooner, that olive snail is going to render anything on the bottom useless. Spanish mackerel. Here is a blue runner taking a peck at the bait, coming back for it. Look how it just munches on it, and that blue runner is hooked. And he's going to start shaking his head, trying to get off initially before he starts running. There he goes. And just be aware that all fish kind of react the same down here. They will try to shake the hook free, and then they'll start running. And that's when they're really trying to get off. Pompano, man, if you're not running down the beach for your rods, or at least moving as fast as you can, Pompano notorious for coming off the hook. So make sure that you are running to your rods or staying close to your rods so you can start reeling them in at the first sign that you're hooked up. And remember, we're using circle hooks, so they all hook themselves. And you have time to get there, but don't think it's forever. And if you're a beginner surf fisherman, just remember you don't have to set the hook surf fishing. If you're using circle hooks, you're good to go. Makes fishing a whole lot easier. Some people still use J hooks for rigs. The Tony rig, available on my website here very soon, uses circle hooks by owner. Some of the best hooks around. Green Gidim's got a great product. Reeling this fish into shore. It's fighting like a pompano, to be honest with you, because it was running from side to side at one point, and I actually thought it was a pompano. But actually, it was a blue runner. You can see my reflection in the water coming in. And remember, too, that first gut, if you're standing close to shore, those fish can see you. And you might spook off a potential catch if you're too close to the shore consistently. Keep that in mind. Another cast in the water. This is the Go Fish Cam, and you can see another blue runner coming in a frame. Got so close to the bait and just is a no-go. There's a pompano school to the left, just two. This is the end of May. We're not seeing the huge numbers, but we are still seeing pompano to catch. Man, look how close, and he took a swipe. It's interesting that the top dropper is getting all the attention. And that's not to say we should only use floats on our surf fishing rigs. I use a top dropper with a float, a bottom dropper either naked, that means no bead, or a bead. Man, pompano are so amazing when they come into frame. But I like that dual attack in the water column. Sometimes they're down lower, paying attention to the bottom of the seabed. Sometimes they're up higher. Why not target both zones? It does make a difference. Ladyfish in and out of frame. And you have no idea where the June grass is. Another ladyfish. So the June grass was floating low and not high. It could have been the reverse. The June grass could have been higher and not low. So this gives you effective baits in both zones of the water column. Now this is a different rig, same Green Gidim rig, 2 floats this time, and I purposely call this the naked float rig. And what I mean by that is there's a segment of the actual fluorocarbon that is free from any float for about 2 inches, and you can see it dangling about 2 inches, and that's just pinned by toothpicks just to make it simple for you. But check out that action. You saw pompano earlier coming in out of frame. Look how that dancing is occurring, and actually it's above the June grass. And oh, something just took a swipe at that, or that maybe got tangled in the June grass. But look how it just dangles. Pompano in frame. Very curious. It actually looked at everything. The bead, the float, the bait, but just not committing. Coming back again. We've got some cigar minnows. This is actually a cast that landed on the bar. You can see the sun is a little bit closer to the frame and the sunlight, and this is the expectation of really what's on that sandbar. And we saw cigar minnows. There's a school in the back. What's traveling there? So if the cigar minnows are traveling, I don't know what that was. It looked like a gar. There's a gar coming through. Oh, a bunch of gar. Doesn't look like a needlefish. Looks more like a gar. How about that? On the sandbar traveling with the cigar minnows. And of course they're not interested at all in this bait. More cigar minnows. But really the bar could be a good place to place a larger bait if these smaller schools with bait fish are just chilling out on the sandbar. Because if you're a predatory fish, you're going to go where the bait is. And a lot of these fish, more of the bait fish, were just hanging on right by the sandbar. Now we've got some June grass that has covered the dropper, and we're going to finish with another olive snail, but it's unable to get to my baits to render them useless.